Have you ever attempted to picture a conflict that lasts longer than your great-great-great-great-grandparents? A conflict that lasted more than 700 years. That is a lot older than most countries, you know. I was doing some digging into history and found this huge war called the Reconquista. It was a massive conflict between Muslim invaders and Christians about who owns a significant chunk of land called the Iberian Peninsula. But as I was buried in all that ancient stuff, I found a smaller, hidden story. It was like a movie, honestly, like a different take on Lord of the Rings. It is about a young prince with one enormous dream, to bring back the kingdom of his slaughtered family. But before I tell you about this hero, let me paint the scene so we all know what the world looked like then. I will start right at the beginning. A long time ago, Jesus Christ was born in a small village named Bethlehem. Bethlehem at that time was in the vast Roman Empire. The Romans did some very horrible things, but they also helped spread Christianity all across the world. But one thing the Romans really didn't do well was keep out the barbarians, hardy soldiers from various places who kept assaulting. In less than a human lifetime of 80 years, the powerful Roman Empire was reduced to half its former extent. The only one that survived and kept the memories alive was the Eastern Roman Empire as the Byzantine Empire. Around the same period in 570, a man named Prophet Muhammad was born in a city called Mecca. He spent his whole life educating people about Allah, which is the Arabic word for God. He helped bring together all the many tribes of the Arabian Peninsula. When he died in 632, 4 of his closest friends and supporters, known as the Caliphs, took power. They started something called the Rashidun Caliphate. They soon expanded their kingdom, capturing territories from the Eastern Roman Kingdom, the Persian Empire, and parts of Africa. How did they manage to defeat 2 large empires at the same time, you ask? Well, the Persians and the Romans had been fighting each other for hundreds of years about land and disagreements. The fighting sapped their strength and wearied them. So when the new and rapidly rising Arab Empire appeared, they found it easy to win. But then came a significant difficulty. The Prophet Muhammad did not say explicitly who shall lead after his death. He left his supporters debating over 4 choices. The same caliphs I just mentioned. It was promptly selected to be caliph, first of 3 of them. It was called Ali. The 4th one would go last. Right from the start, this made for a major division in the Islamic world. One party, the Shia, said that Ali should have come first, not 4th. The opposing group, known as the Sunni, believed the decree was fine. The number of furious people increased during the time of the 3rd caliph, Uthman. The hatred became so great that rebels broke into Uthman's home and assassinated him while reading the Quran. That horrible event began the First Islamic Civil War. The 4th caliph, Ali, tried to set things straight, but it was too hard. Ali got assassinated as well, long story short. Then came the Umayyads, a prominent Sunni family. They established the Umayyad Caliphate. All right, we're getting pretty near to the beginning of our prince's story. Just hang in there a little longer. The Umayyad Caliphate was expanding, growing more powerful all the time. It stretched from India to the bottom of France. It was a great empire if you were a stylish, important Arab. But if you were another sort of person, a Persian or a Berber or a Christian, you were treated badly. Obviously, the regulations were not fair. You could wonder, were all these people Arabs? Not quite. The Persians, whose empire had been destroyed by the Arabs, were predominantly Shia Muslims. They felt a kinship with the martyred Caliph Ali. Hence, these abused groups united as a counter-movement. They were ready for a revolution, a bloody revolution. Marwan I, the Umayyad Caliph, could feel the storm coming. He readied his forces and marched to combat to meet the rebel army. But his warriors were no match for the army of the Abbasids. The Abbasids had a burning desire for justice for all the people of the empire. Almost all of the Umayyad warriors died with Caliph Marwan I himself. But the Abbasids were not finished. They wanted to deliver justice to every other member of the surviving Umayyad family. Justice, back in the 750s, had taken the shape of death. Remember that terrifying scene in Star Wars where they give Order 66 and all the Jedi are killed? This was just the same. Rogue Abbasid operatives went throughout the caliphate and started executing every last member of the Umayyad family, every servant, every loyalist. And as the rebel army drew closer and closer to the capital of the Umayyad Caliphate, the slaughter grew worse and worse. And here we meet our hero, Prince Abd al-Rahman. His full name and title was Amir Abd al-Rahman ibn Muawiyah ibn Hisham. Amir, prince. The name Abd al-Rahman means servant of God. Ibn is the son of. But to make it simple, we will just refer to him as Prince Abd al-Rahman. He was not the next heir to the throne, but he was just 20 years old. But that was no concern of the Abbasids. Every last Umayyad has to be eliminated. The assassins moved in on Abd al-Rahman, who realized he could not fight back. Time to run for his life. Swords clashed in the passageways outside his room. The prince knew he had to act fast. First, he and his little band had to select where to run to. Yahya, his brother, looked at the map and advised they should go as far away as possible, so they went west, to Palestine. But a slave called Badr, who had been freed and was devoted to the prince, did not like this. Badr stated they should avoid the large routes and cities. Instead, they should follow the Euphrates River north, where they might encounter kind people and refuge. Badr agreed with Abd al-Rahman, but that wasn't the only difficulty. How could they get out of the city and not get caught? They could try to leave, but it would mean leaving behind the prince's 4-year-old son and his sisters. Abd al-Rahman would never commit such a thing. Badr, a man who once lived a humble existence, had a brilliant plan: disguises, get rid of the costly clothes. Forget the huge, heavy guns, cover your faces up, take only what you really want, pretend to be poor traders and leave the city. The group nodded. They sneaked out the back door into the bustle of the streets. There were bodies everywhere. The streets of the fallen capital ran with needless blood. The gang set out and escaped the grip of the Abbasids. For the moment, they were safe. "Get off the horses. We're gonna hunt." Just joking. That's a quote from a movie. But first, let's talk about the sponsor. Yup, that's right, it's War Thunder. War Thunder is literally the most full-vehicle combat game you can play for free on PC and platforms. You can take control of more than 2,500 distinct tanks, aircraft, helicopters, and ships from 10 main countries. You get all from ancient biplanes and armored automobiles of the 20s to modern fighter aeroplanes and main battle tanks. In the heat of battle in War Thunder, you're up close and personal with incredibly detailed vehicles, realistic graphics, and authentic sound effects that make you feel like you're really in command of the most powerful war machines ever constructed. And with actual damage to specific pieces, blowing foes up has never been so thrilling. If you want to try it out, use my link in the description. You will receive 3 premium vehicles, a 50% experience and income booster, 2 rental vehicles, 100,000 silver, and 7 days of premium. This deal is only available for a short time, and only if you are new or have not played in 6 months. But they were not safe with Damascus behind them. Now in possession of the capital and the entire caliphate, the Abbasids dubbed the empire the Abbasid Caliphate. All the western provinces around Spain and Morocco agreed to follow them. There was no return to the opulent, pleasant life the 2 princes had formerly enjoyed. The gang didn't know it yet, but they were the only Umayyad blood left alive in the whole empire. The rest had all been killed. That night, worn out and exhausted in mind and body, they came to a small settlement. They had to recover and be ready for the last stretch to the river. The locals looked upon the prince and his cause with pity. They gave the group several modest but warm tents to sleep in. Such a horrible, traumatizing day, the gang could finally close their eyes and relax, but not for long. "My lord, they found us," cried a voice in the dark. "No, back," the prince shouted. "Gordon, save my brother. I must find my son." "Oh no, my lord, if we die here, the bloodline dies with us. We must leave. Now." Pain stabbing their hearts and no other alternative, the trio, Abd al-Rahman, his brother Yahya, and Badr, escaped the village. They abandoned the others to whatever destiny awaited them. To be explicit, all family members left behind were slaughtered that night by the Abbasid hunters. Gosh, these Abbasids are bad, aren't they? Well, if you're an Umayyad, yeah, but for the rest of the folks, things weren't that horrible. It was during the Abbasid Empire that the Islamic Golden Age actually flourished. Thank you very much, Abbasids, for killing my son and 3 sisters. Very cool indeed. But if we look at the map, we can see that things are far worse than before. Damascus is fully fallen. The Abbasid army are scattering and eliminating all remaining combatants. Why don't they just pop over to the Eastern Roman Empire and find shelter there, you might ask? Well, recall the Arabs taking half of the already half-sized Roman Empire. Yeah, the Romans still haven't forgiven that. They are not very friendly. And speaking of forgetting stuff, seems the Abbasid hunters have arrived to do the job. The 3 of them ran desperately to the river with nowhere else to go. They plunged into the water. The Abbasid hunters wore thick robes and armor and rode horses. That's no good for crossing a river. But Yahya wasn't either. Abd al-Rahman was athletic and strong always. Badr had been a slave and was used to severe physical work. But Yahya was more air than swimmer. The 3 swam desperately for the other side, but the deeper they went, the stronger the tug of the current. Then the cry of the hunters from the bank. "If you come back, we swear we won't kill you." Yahya said, "That's it then, I'm going back." "What are you doing, brother?" shouted Abd al-Rahman. Quick, there's no way back. Last night they killed our sisters and my son. You can't trust them. Yahya said, Bro, relax. They had promised. Surely they wouldn't break that. What a stupid thing to do. Naturally, as soon as Yahya came back, they killed him. Then the hunters did the same trick. Hey, we just killed your brother and all that, but if you come back, we ain't gonna kill you. Abd al-Rahman didn't take the bait. He and Badr went swimming faster. They reached the other side and ran like their life depended on it, and they did. The two ran and ran till there was no more land to run on. They struck the sea. This is it, huh? Abd al-Rahman said. Is it? He stopped a moment. I am the last of the Umayyad clan. Everyone else is gone. They think I'm dead as a doornail, but I can't just give in to what I am, or run into exile like a coward. By Allah, what do you think my son would say if he saw me give up? Why do you see me as a small baby? Look, I want to wail and weep in a hole, and believe me, I really do, but I can't. Not yet. He glanced at his map. 40 years ago, my great-grandfather went to a place called Al-Andalus with a massive army and conquered almost the entire peninsula. If there is one place we can go for support, we can go there for support. Rumor has it that the local governor has been resisting the Umayyad family and trying to set up his own rule, which means he probably won't give in to the Abbasids either. We will go through Africa. We will raise an army. We will kill that governor. We will take back our empire that the Abbasids took from us. He drew a breath. It's going to be a long and tough road. The Abbasid horsemen and that scar-faced leader won't stop until we depart their territory. Not to mention the several tribes of Berbers we will see on our journey who will be far from welcoming. I saved you from slavery, Badr, and you owe me more than you can pay. If you want to go, I understand. Badr glanced at him. I will never leave you, Mr. Frodo, he said. He was making a small joke. All right, responded the prince. Let's put up our legs and hunker down for another night. Because tomorrow we begin our quest to defeat the governor and declare war on the Abbasid Empire.